Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros suffered a leg injury in their most recent win Monday night against the Texas Rangers. At the time of the injury, we noticed that he did leave the clubhouse on crutches and in a walking boot. It looks like we have an injury update. Sources are reporting that he has suffered a significant ankle sprain and he is due to miss extended time. On the injury replay that we're going to look at in a moment, as he was reaching home plate, he landed with his foot and his foot and ankle went into a classic ankle sprain position known as inversion. Whenever somebody's foot and ankle goes into a forced inversion position like this, it's going to stress the ligaments that are located on the lateral or outside portion of the ankle. And this is what I'm going to focus on with today's video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Gallo and I'm a doctor of physical therapy. And with my channel, I take a look at sports injuries and I try to explain them so that they're a little bit easier to understand. I'll also go over the relevant anatomy for that injury as well as talk about the rehab process. If you enjoy this sort of content and you would like to see more of it, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to this channel because I will be making more of these videos in the future regarding sports injuries, rehabilitation, and other physical therapy related content. Also, if you yourself have suffered inversion ankle sprains, go ahead and comment in the comment section below. So we see here on the injury replay that Alvarez, once he reaches home plate, he's going to plant with that left foot and that left foot is going to slide. And while it's doing this, that foot is just going to go in an extremely forced inversion position. Here is my model of the foot and ankle. And so the ankle is formed up by two long bones that are going to come down in the lower leg. The first one is this tibia bone, also known as the shin, that's going to come down and form the inside portion of the ankle here, known as the medial malleolus. The outside portion is formed by the fibula bone that's going to come down and form that lateral malleolus. And then on the inside portion here, we have our talus bone. These bones together are going to form what we know as being the ankle joint. There are four main motions of the foot and ankle. The first one is known as dorsiflexion, where the foot and ankle are going to be bending like this. The opposite of that is plantar flexion, where the foot and the toes are going away from the body. Then as we flip the model inwards like this, we're going to go over that inversion position where the foot is going to roll under like so. And the opposite of that is going to be the eversion position. I briefly touched on this in the beginning, but there are actually three main ligaments that are located on the lateral portion of the ankle here. The first one is a ligament known as the ATFL, or the anterior talofibular ligament. So anterior meaning that it's on the front portion of the leg. Talofibular, meaning that it's going to attach the talus and the fibula together. Then as we move towards the posterior here, we have the calcaneofibular ligament, where basically this ligament is going to attach the calcaneus to the fibula like so. On the back here, we have the PTFL, or the posterior talofibular ligament. Posterior meaning towards the back, and once again talofibular in that it's going to attach the talus and the fibula together. So for the sake of this injury video, Alvarez's foot and ankle is going to go into forced inversion once again. You can see that as I take the model through a lot of excessive inversion, that wants to separate all of the structures that are located laterally, so it's going to affect one or multiple of those lateral ankle ligaments. Also, if the force is great enough, you can see here on the model that it greatly wants to gap the bones as well. So it can lead to something known as a malleolar fracture. It can be fractured either on the lateral or the medial portion here. Fortunately, we know that in Alvarez's case, he's had x-rays, they came back negative, and he's officially diagnosed with a sprain. That is a positive. However, the fact that it is a significant sprain, what the media is reporting, that means that it sounds like a higher grade sprain, and I'm going to go over that grading system in a moment. If we get a patient with a suspected ankle sprain, we can do a few tests in the clinical setting to kind of rule in or rule out which ligament we think is being affected. So basically we're going to do a test known as the Taylor tilt test. What we're doing here is we are going to be stabilizing the person's leg and we're going to basically take them through that inversion position. Now we can bias some of the ligaments to basically stress one or the other. The way to stress the ATFL, basically what we're going to do is we're going to put them in a little bit more of a plantar flex position and have them invert like so. If we want to do the CFL, we have them in a neutral dorsiflexion and we take them through inversion. And finally, to buy us more of the PTFL, we're going to dorsiflex the ankle slightly and also take them through inversion. Also, palpating the person's ankle can also tell us a lot. So for example, if they are having tenderness running through here, but not the other two locations, we think it is the ATFL. If they are having tenderness in the ATFL location, as well as this location right here, we think that it is the ATFL along with the CFL. So the location on the ankle tells us a lot of information in regards to what structure could be potentially implicated. The gold standard, of course, to officially diagnose this is going to be that MRI. Like other ligament injuries that I've talked about in the past, this ankle sprain grading system are grades 1, 2, and 3. In a grade 1, you're getting basically stretching or some very microscopic tearing of the affected ligament. In a grade 2, you're getting a partial tear. And finally, in a grade 3, this is where you're getting a full rupture. Recovery timeline is dictated by the grade. So a grade 1 is considered mild, and typically a person will miss anywhere from about 1 to 3 weeks. A grade 2 is considered moderate. They can miss anywhere from about 3 to 6 weeks. And finally, grade 3, because this is the worst case scenario, they can miss anywhere from 6 to about 12 weeks and sometimes even longer, because in a full rupture, a lot of times the ankle is just going to be so unstable that it's going to require surgery. Because the Houston Astros have already come out and said that Alvarez is due to miss extended time, this is probably safe to say that we can rule out a grade 1 because that's going to be the shortest time frame. Sounds like he's dealing with at least a grade 2. It's also important to say it's not guaranteed that he's dealing with a grade 3, and a grade 3 does not always require surgery because you have 2 other ligaments there that are doing the job to stabilize the ankle. If it's just one that has suffered a grade 3, surgery is not always implicated, but obviously this is a case-by-case basis. When we get somebody in the clinic for one of these higher grade ankle sprains, immediately what we're going to do is we're going to follow that acronym RICE, where R stands for rest, I stands for ice, C stands for compression, and E stands for elevation. This is because we want to pump out as much swelling as possible within that first week of the inflammatory phase. Then as the person is starting to feel better, we can go over gentle range of motion and start to include strengthening, and finally advance the weight bearing. So once again, we just need to find out a little bit more specific information regarding Alvarez's case to determine an accurate timeline to return. But once again, the fact that they're saying he's going to miss extended time, I think it's safe to say that we can rule out a grade 1. Sounds like at least a grade 2. If I happen to hear any more updates regarding Alvarez's case, I'll be sure to update everybody in the comment section. Also, if you happen to hear anything, please feel free to update us as well. So we wish Yordan Alvarez the best of luck moving forward with this ankle injury. It sounds like it is definitely not the best case scenario, but potentially not the worst case. So there is a positive here. Thank you so much again for tuning into my video today. If you enjoyed this sort of content, I'm going to go ahead and link one of my playlists so that you can watch some of the videos that I've talked about in the past. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.